Hello fellas, fellettes, fellems. If you're new here, hi, welcome. These neat things videos are just a compilation of dumb miscellaneous crud that I came across in whatever game I'm playing. Take this for example. But we'll get to that in a minute. Starting off with the only thing in this video that I used to do all the way back in the original generations, and it involves the loop-de-loop from the chemical plant part of the hub. What I did back in the day was kind of do that in reverse as Classic Sonic. I placed him right behind the dash panel, charged up a spin dash, then jumped. Jumping too early will keep us in the loop track. However, if you were to do it just right, Classic should be able to travel in front of all the walls and collisions to land on the main ground, sometimes to varying results. I'm going to say this works because the loop itself is in two different 2D planes, so with Classic Sonic's spin dash being as overpowered as it is in this game, he's going to travel fast enough to go out of bounds during this transition between the 2D planes. You might be able to see him slide back into the correct position. Also, if you manage to land on the chemical plant letters, you can see things aren't completely normal by the way Sonic behaves. Classic would be moving in this slow-moving walk cycle. Before you ask, modern Sonic can also do this too. But going through the floor is a little bit tougher for him, stomping makes it easier. Another thing that modern Sonic can do is get stuck inside the wall, because he's a loser. Also, we all know this, pressing the Y button lets us switch between the hedgehogs. We're allowed to do that while going around the loop, by the way. Switching will actually stop Sonic's momentum completely. If we do it at the tippy top, Sonic will fall to the ground, sometimes right beside the dash panel instead of on top of it. If you do it a little bit before the center as Classic Sonic, Modern will be placed out of bounds inside the ceiling. Long story short, you can do a lot of things with the loop. I would highly recommend messing around with it. Go experiment with this thing, because there are even more results that I haven't shown here. I want y'all to find it yourselves. Hey, you want to see something cool? This is why these videos don't do very well on my channel. The Aqua Shield lets Classic Sonic do a bounce attack, and we're going to be using that for this next one. Make sure you have it equipped in one of your skill sets, then find a flippy flap. You know, this red and white springboard that launches us further into the level. Once you come across one, press Y to bring out the shield, then bounce on the side closer to Sonic. I have no clue why it works like this, but Sonic will be launched in the opposite direction. It's a frickin' mystery. The pointy spikes can hurt Sonic.
Really? Yes.
Let me show y'all something. Find yourself a set of retractable spikes, then push Sonic up against them while they're out. When they go back into the ground, ever so slightly scooch Sonic over them. If you did it correctly, we should be standing on top of the hazards when they come out. Wait, why am I only mentioning the retractable ones? You can do this with any spike on the ground. I'm kind of impressed the entire thing isn't coded to hurt him. These next three are about Seaside Hill. Did y'all know we could walk on top of the giant stone wheels in Act 1? I don't know, this seems like one of those things I should have known since I played the original back in 2011, but I just found out about this like 4 days ago. It's crazy. Apparently the names of those wheels are, I think it's pronounced K-O, if you spell it K-A-O, like K-O the kangaroo. Also in classic Seaside Hill, there are 3 loop-de-loops before entering the palace. The middle one has something special about it. For some reason, there is an invisible floor near the top of the loop. Your guess is as good as mine. Now moving to modern Sonic, he enters the palace in his second 2D section. Make sure to come in one of the upper routes, because that's where we can easily find a whale statue. When you get to one, jump on top of it, then hold down the boost button. Here's a few references to spice things up. One of Classic Sonic's idle animations shows him doing a pointing pose. This, of course, originated from Sonic 3. The only reason why I'm going over this is because I am 90% sure this wasn't in the original generations. Hang on, let me double check. Oh, wait, nope, yep, it is in the original too. The skill shop has a lot of miscellaneous products on display. The only one worth mentioning is the Chow hand puppets hanging on the top. This is a light nudge to the traveling salesman from Sonic Unleashed, Wentos. He uses the exact same hand puppet to communicate with his customers because he is too shy to talk to them directly. At the start of both Planet Wisp acts, White Wisp can be found hovering around the area. A couple of them will be doing this little wiggle dance, which is actually taken directly from one of the loading screens from Sonic Colors. Strangely enough, they have this in Forces too. Music is one of the main collectibles in the game. There's a grand total of 50 songs to unlock from all across Sonic's legacy. Well, legacy back in 2011. When comparing it to the remaster, there's still 50 songs in the jukebox. But out of those 50, 49 of them stayed the same. The only one that didn't make it to Sonic X Shadow was Right There, Right On from Sonic Rush. It would normally be between Route 99 and New Venture. I can only assume it got the boot because of complicated copyright reasons. That song ended up getting replaced. Huh?
To the beat. It's like that shot chases you. Careful, Sonic. Sonic, watch out. It's a warping habitat.
No, I'm kidding. We now have an extra song from Shadow the Hedgehog, Westopolis. And speaking of Shadow the Hedgehog, insert transition to Shadow Generations.
Whoa!
As Shadow unlocks a new ability, a little cutscene plays showing off said new ability. The second one, Doom Blast, features Shadow performing an all-out pummel on the camera. Once the gameplay resumes... Did you see it? Let me slow it down for you. Nice, the Black Warrior's T-posing. The game's been out for about a month and it's still in the game. I could have sworn something like that would have been patched out by now. One of the main collectibles in Shadow's hub are the machine parts. These are used to help Orbot and Cubot build a rocket so they can escape the white space. Although, spoilers, they had the wrong blueprints and what we ended up making was a massive clock. Once you find all the parts, there will be an extra thing in the collection room. Normally on the right side, you can find a table with nothing on it. Only after collecting the 80 machine parts will you have a brand new blue flicky alarm clock resting on top. You can also hear it chime when you walk closer to it. Here's another Flicky-related thing with Orbot and Cubot. When you've collected between 60 and 79 machine parts, Orbot mentions taking a vacation to Flicky Island, which is where your adventure takes place in Sonic 3D Blast. That was a bit too easy. Wait, I got one. So if you talk to Big after completing both acts from Chaos Island, he mentions how he might have seen Shadow running on the Ark. My literal response to that was, no, there is no way this game is going to gaslight me into thinking that Big the Cat has ever set foot on the Ark. And then I came to the realization that, yes, he has been there, because in Sonic Adventure 2, Big has a hiding spot in every single level, and some of those levels take place on the Ark. He also appears in a few cutscenes if you mash the A button, but that's beside the point. They made a reference to the Easter egg in Sonic Adventure 2. That is so nuts. It feels like a stretch, though. No, it can't possibly be. Ian Flynn wrote this. Oh, Princess Elysium gets a quick mention from Big, too. Neat. Here's a very easy one. Shadow has a battle-ready pose during boss fights, and a fatigued pose when he loses all of his rings. Don't worry, we're gonna end this on a good one. In Space Colony Arc Act 1, Black Doom creates this radical highway illusion. One of the very last sections of that is us skidding down a slanted building. Visually, it's pretty cool, but I'm not a big fan of how it limits our moveset. Shadow can only move, jump, and use Chaos Spear while in this state. Well, here's a way to technically fix that predicament. See, there's an incredibly small window right before Shadow lands on the building where we have control over him. If we press the jump button at the correct time, we can actually perform our double jump. Landing on the building will change us back to the skidding playstyle. Here's how we get around that. After the double jump, hold down the B button. You can see Shadow is crouched down and has not started to skid. If we take our finger off that button, everything will revert back to how the game intended it to be. If we move the analog stick like this, Shadow will slide like how he does in normal gameplay. As long as we keep our finger on that button, the game will not correct itself and we can technically keep our base moveset while moving down the slide. It's crazy because you can actually beat this section without... Oh dear, I was about to spoil a future video. Ending the video now before I spill the beans. Thank you as always for watching the whole way through and have an exquisite day. And now, the Patreon supporters, brought to you by Mod. Lots of spaghetti and page fighting master so dark fossil and triff. Gianna Tim, March Guga Mitsuru Simp, and Tabitha Harvey Youssef. There's Augustus Renier, stop motion stylist, Soma Banam RT, plus Kyle Prado, and Delta P is floating in Mississippi. There's Sonic Meerkat, and Irony Class, and Luke and Sunset Pilly, Elijah Boneham. Alright, see ya fam.